Good evening, guys. Happy Christmas, etc. All that sort of stuff. I hope you're all enjoying your holidays this time of year. I wanted to just make a very quick video issuing a recommendation, basically. And it's this time of year when, we all sort of look back on the year that we've just had and, we pick out highlights, we pick out things that have gone well for us and that have maybe not gone so well for us. And so the one thing that I want to highlight to all of you this evening is the benefits of rhythmic breathing. And so I basically started doing rhythmic breathing back in September this year. So I dragged myself along to a sort of seminar in London, and I've been experimenting with my morning routine for the last 18 months or so. And usually it consists of like a mindfulness standard meditation that you could get on Headspace or something, or literally just a case of sitting in silence for say 10 minutes and just sort of counting the breaths that you're taking. How's it going, Dan? Thanks for the shout out. And so what I want to get across to all of you is a really wonderful experience, and one wonderful experience in particular that I had from doing this rhythmic breathing technique. And so I'll tell you very briefly about it. So there was maybe 30 or 40 of us in a room together in SOAS University on a Sunday evening in September. And to be honest with you, I was quite stressed out this time of year. I'd just come back from Africa the previous month, and I was just really not enjoying my work situation at that time. So I could really do with a boost, so to speak. And so the session was led by somebody called the Renegade Pharmacist, and you can find him on Facebook and online if you search for SOMA Breath. You might see I've hyperlinked to it in this video, and I'll share links to it. And so he basically got us to count our breaths as we were breathing. So he got us nice and relaxed, and he was playing music and stuff. And the technique is a bit more sophisticated than this, but broadly, we did sort of 2 or 3 rounds of breathing together. So one involved us breathing inwards for a count of 2 and then exhaling for a count of 4. And I'm not going to get the science of this totally accurate. I'm going to leave that to the man Niraj, the Renegade Pharmacist himself, to explain this. But basically it involves varying the counts on which you inhale and exhale. And so we were doing this in the seminar for about 20 minutes to half an hour. And the point of doing this technique is that it provokes a lot of things. So it balances your energy. It resets your, I believe it resets your immune system. I don't want to make false claims here, but it resets certain systems in your body that helps generate a lot of energy, basically, and it makes it feel like you've reset your brain, so to speak. So if you get up feeling tired and stressed, you can actually do this breathing technique, and it will leave you with much more clarity and enthusiasm and all of the rest of it. And so as we were doing this, what you're basically doing in the technique is when you're inhaling and exhaling, you're generating energy down in your diaphragm area. And so what you then do when you do this for maybe 5 minutes or so is you then hold your breath. So for those of you who are familiar with Wim Hof breathing, to use breathing to basically turn your body into like a radiator, to increase the temperature sort of naturally. What you do when you hold your breath is you then amplify this energy in your body. And then when you hold your breath for as long as possible, what you then do is you take a sharp intake of breath, and you're basically moving that energy through your body up towards your heads and your brain, basically. And so that patently, that creates its own experience. You then feel that shooting into your mind. And to be honest with you, I feel like I'm rambling a little bit here, so I'll cut to the chase of this story. Basically, when I did this breathing technique, I got very, very emotional when I was doing it. It brought up all sorts of feelings. But really, the key takeaway, the key experience that I felt when I was doing this for the first time in a room full of strangers was that I felt like I was having a conversation with God himself. I'll just say a bit more about that. So I had my eyes closed, and for somebody who went to Catholic school when I was younger, for somebody who has what you would call a traditional Judeo-Christian conception of what God looks like. If you can imagine, if you go into a chapel or a church, you'll see there's stained glass windows on the walls there. So what I was experiencing was, when I had my eyes closed, I felt like I was looking at an image of sort of God and God's face on a stained glass window. And I felt like I was having, for want of a better phrase, I had a connection, and I was having a two-way dialogue with God, with a higher power, intelligence, however you want to describe it. And there was very much a conversation going on there. And so, as you can imagine, just from sitting in a room and using your breath and using literally counting techniques and a very straightforward method for doing this, you can imagine I and others walked out of that room being very, very impressed by this breathing technique. And so I'll just say a few more things about it. I can already see I've gone on a lot longer than I anticipated. I have a tendency to ramble here, but the point of this video is for me to just talk through some of the benefits of this. And the proof of the pudding is that I've been doing this breathing technique pretty much on a daily basis since I did it for the first time a few months ago. And it takes about 20 minutes. You can vary it. You can do it for half an hour or longer if you really, really like the effect of it. And yeah, the key thing I want to say as well is that if you go on SOMA Breath on Facebook, you'll see their mission is to raise the vibrational energy of the planet and to liberate people from limiting belief patterns. And so if you go on their website and you check out their literature, the man himself, Niraj, the Renegade Pharmacist, he'll explain it all in much greater detail than I can, or indeed am capable of doing. But basically, it's about getting yourself into a peak performance state. It's about improving your moods. It's about giving yourself a boost of energy from within without taking any sort of substances or relying on caffeine or anything like this. And so I'm going to leave it there, guys. So check out SOMA Breath. I've linked to it in the Facebook video here, and I'll include a link to it. If you guys want to start the day with purpose, intention, and this is going to sound very woolly, but connecting to your authentic self, then I sincerely recommend that you trial some rhythmic breathing and see where it takes you. And do let me know how you get on. Thank you very much, guys. Have a great evening.